In this video, we're going to learn how to create a template for fast offers on DigiSign. So the first step is to log into Skyslope. Go on Treb. On the home page, there's a little button that says Skyslope Forms. Click on that. Once you're logged in, go to your browser and type in send.skyslope.com. And you'll be taken to DigiSign. So DigiSign is the e-signature portion of Skyslope, similar to DocuSign or Authentisign. So once you're here, we're going to click on templates. Once you're at the template section, you're going to click New Template. Firstly, it's going to ask you to upload a document. So click on Upload Document and click on Lease Agreement Fast Offers. The link for this is in the description for you to download for making this template. It's just a blank offer as you would receive from fast offers. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to name this document. So we're going to make it easy for us to remember. So we're going to call it Condo Lease. And in the recipient section, you'll see that the first one, it says role. When you click on it, you'll select purchaser/tenant. To add another recipient, you click on this little plus sign. So the second recipient we're going to add, we're going to click on it, and it's going to be me. So now that you've named it, you've added tenant and me as a role, and you've uploaded the lease agreement, fast offers, we're going to click on next at the bottom. So this is now the signature portion of the DigiSign. So at the top, you'll see it says signer. For the first one, I want to click on that and click on purchaser/tenant. So let's do the signatures and initials of the tenant first. So you'll notice the blank agreement over here, and you'll notice at the top it says signature, initial, full name, date, time, and more. So first, let's start with the initial. We're going to click on initial, and then we're just going to click where we want the initial. And now that will be the initial for the tenant. So the same thing, we just keep scrolling down and start adding another initial to page 2, just by clicking on the page where we want the initial. So on page 3, we're going to need a signature. So we're going to click on signature. And then we're just going to click on where we want the signature, which is at the top of the page, and a date. So then we click on date and also click on where we want the date, which is going to be right there. And I'm going to continue to do all of the tenant initials and signatures first. So on page 4, I'm going to click on initials and then click on where they're supposed to be at the bottom of the page. One tip that I found is if you click on the bottom left corner of where you want the signature to be, it centers it exactly. So every time you just click at the bottom left corner of where you kind of want the signature, and that will place it almost perfectly center each time. So that's a little tip that I found that you can use. So now we're on page 8, confirmation of cooperation. There's going to be an initial of the tenant at the bottom of the page. And then again on page 9, we're going to need a signature at the bottom of the page along with a date. And then on page 10, we're going to need a signature and then also a date. On page 11, we're going to need an initial over here. And we're also going to need an initial at the bottom of the page. On page 12, we're going to need one initial at the bottom of the page. On page 13, we're going to need one signature right here and also a date along with it. And then another signature we're going to need at the bottom of the page along with the date. So now on page 14, we're going to need an initial on this top portion over here along with a signature and a date at the bottom. And then for the Ontario Standard Lease, there's only one signature required, and it's going to be on page 21. Under the tenant section, we're going to put signature, and then we're also going to put date. And that's it. Now, all the initials and signatures and dates for the tenant have been done. So now let's move on to the next person, me. So I'm going to go on the left and select me. And now as the cooperating salesperson, I need to fill out all of the initials that I would have to send if I were sending this offer. So the first one's on page 4. And then the second place where I need to sign or initial is going to be on page 8 at the bottom under cooperating tenant brokerage. I'm going to need an initial. And then on page 9, I'm going to need signature right over here, along with the date. I don't need anything on the confirmation. On page 11, I'm going to need initial at the bottom of the page. Same thing with page 12, at the bottom of the page, an initial, a signature on page 13 over here, and another signature on the bottom here. And that is it. That is all the initials that you need for yourself. So now for one last time, take a look at the agreement, make sure all of the initials and signatures and dates for both you and the tenant are exactly where they're supposed to be. If you want to make any adjustments, now is the time to do so. Once you're set, all you do is you click save and exit. And that's it. Now you've successfully created a DigiSign template for you to use with fast offers.